Hi viewers, let's see the app we are going to develop in the next couple of lessons. The app is connected to the Firebase database, right? And you will see there's a main menu where you got employee options and listing all employees. This table view controller we have put here, right? And when you click on employee details, you will be taken to a page where you can add, insert, search, delete employee data, right? So let us say in this Firebase database, you can see in the background, let's say I want to search for records and delete them, right? So let's say I select one and search. You can see it loads the data from the database. And let's say if I delete it, right, it deletes the data from the Firebase real-time database. That's awesome, right? So let's start. Let's say if you want to insert a new record, right? So you can say employee number one, let's say Anne, right? And let's say a salary of 50,000, right? And let's say Anne is from Melbourne, right? Awesome, right? If you click save, you can see it real time updates a Firebase database. That's wonderful, right? That's about search and delete. And let's say if you want to change the salary of J, right? So you say you can search for J first using the app, right? Let's say you search and it says salary of J is 30,000. Let's say you want to make it to 40,000, right? Let's say you're going to make it, change it to 40,000 and just click save, right? You will see that it gets updated in the real-time database. That's awesome. That's wonderful. So save, delete, search functions are working. Not only that, you can just go and change a few stuff. Let's see. Awesome. So then once you are done with that, you can swipe it and list all the employees, right? That's another feature of the app we are going to develop. So you can see the data. Say, let's say you got 1, 2, 4, right? So let's say see one Peter, Anne, and Jay is there. Let's swipe this down and let's insert a new record, right? Let's say we insert record number 3. Let's put some sample data here. Okay, so let's save the data for Frank, right? Awesome. And now if you swipe down and if you go and check the list of employees, you can see Frank is there. That's an awesome feature of this app, right? And there's another nice thing of this app, right? Another awesome feature. So if multiple users, just assume if multiple users are viewing this app, right? The app you are going to develop has real-time synchronization features, right? Just assume these are two users using the app, right? And if one user add a new employee, let us say a new employee record, let's go to the bottom, say employee record 5, let me put the data first. So just assume if one user save, see what will happen to the other user phone, right? So if I click save Mary's details, awesome. See, the database got updated and on real-time synchronization, the next user will see the data being inserted, right? So that is an awesome feature of this app you are going to develop. But it's very important that you have to make sure to look at the next couple of lectures in Firebase database programming, that is part 2, part 3, until we complete this app. It explains all the theory and the practical knowledge which you need to know about developing this app, right? Okay, friends, we are very excited to show you how to develop this app practically, and let's do it now. Hi viewers. So the lesson is Firebase database programming part 9, and we are very excited to take you into this lesson, and let's see what's inside it. Tools used Xcode version 11.4.1 and Apple Developer Docs for referencing. Prerequisite, you have to look at the following previous lessons on Firebase and table views in Objective-C in this series. Firebase database programming part 1 to 8 and table view static and dynamic content. You have to look at some of the previous basic lessons on Objective-C in this series. In this session, you will learn combining all above Firebase database programming part 1 to part 8 into one app quickly, right? And we'll have a main options page. Then inside that we'll have employee options page and listing all employees. And we will discuss the real-time data synchronization happening in between running apps. And we'll have a small discussion about API classes. Lesson plan as usual, practical demonstrations. Okay viewers, let's go and start the practical. So where did we stop in the previous lesson, right? So this is where we stopped in the previous lesson. So you have to make sure that you go and look at the previous lesson before you come and look this, right? So until up to previous lesson, what we have done is we got our employee options page where we can save, delete, search and clear, do everything. Also we got a list all employees page, which is a table view controller where we can list everything. So now what we are going to do is we are going to combine the stuff into one app. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a menu like the main options page. For that, to display the menu, I'm going to put a table view controller, right? So I'm going to put a table view controller here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some space, and this one I'm going to bring it, okay, I'm going to make some space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down, I'm going to move this up, and what the new table view controller, I'm going to keep it here, right? And what I'm going to do is in the new table view controller, I'm going to set it as the initial view controller, so it will run. And then I want to make this look like a menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the table view of that, right? And I'm going to have a fixed menu. So I'm happy to have a static cells just to display a menu option, right? And just I'm happy with one section, right? Awesome, right? And then let's see what few things. Okay, no, let's keep that part like that. Then into the section, right? I'm going to call it as, let's say, the main options, right? Say I'm going to give a header straight away, right, into the section called main options, right? Something like that. So in the main options, what I would like to see is I would like not 3 rows. I'm just going to give only 2 menu options. So I'm happy with only 2 rows, right? And I'm going to click on each of the row, right? And I'm going to give a style, right, detail, and I'm going to give a accessory, a disclosure indicator, so it gets that option. And also I'm going to add an image, right? So as the image, I'm going to add, let us say, so I'm going to see what are my images, right? So I got a couple of images over here. So let me say 3A, I got image for employee option. That is my first option. And let's say 3B, yeah, of course, these two. I got employee options and list row. So I'm going to use those 3A and 3B, right? So you can use your own images, right? Of course, I put that into the cell. I put that first image, right? Awesome, right? And then I'm going to call this static content. So I'm going to just double click on it and just say employee options page, right? Awesome, right? Employee options page. Then I'm going to click on the second table view cell, right? Again, I'm going to say, okay, right detail, right? Same options, right? Accessory, a disclosure indicator, right? Awesome, right? And then let's say a image. The second one, this one, list all employees, right? And the title, let's call it as first one, employee, list all employees, right? Don't need to say page, let's say list all employees, and let's call this one as employee options, right? Awesome. So let's run and see what's going to be the output of this, right? So I'll just run. Let's see what's the output. Okay, friends. So the outcome is a simple menu, right? So employee options and list all employees. So what I want to do is when I click this, I want to go to the list employee options and click. So it's easy because we have done this. So if you are not sure of how to do this, look at our previous lessons on multiple windows and see how we are doing this, right? So clicking on this, then I'm going to control drag into this and say show. Then it will create a storyboard segue, right? Then I'm going to click on list all employees, control drag and say show, right? Awesome, right? So now let's run. I should be able to click them now. So let's click on the menus now, right? So awesome, friends, right? See, when I click on that, I'm getting employee options page, and when I click list all employees, I'm getting that as well, right? Awesome, right? Now let's see the rest of the app. Okay, so the app is in action. I got one employee in my Firebase real-time database. So I'm going to add more employees. I'm going to go and click employee options. I just type some data, and when I click save, awesome, save successful, and I'm getting my data in the real-time database. The data is gets saved, right? Let me put another employee. Let me do this quickly. So now if I go and list the employees, awesome, see, I got the 2 employees. Wonderful, right? Let's go and add another employee. I just type the data for another employee. Let's click save. Awesome, right? Save success. And if I swipe down and go to the list all employees in the app, awesome, it displays my employees, right? Wonderful. and now I'm able to search as well. Let us say I want to change the salary of John into 70,000. So what I have to do is search for John, right? Search, you can see it's 60,000. Now if I change the salary of John, let us say into 70,000, any data item, right? And if I click save, you can see John's data got updated. Wonderful. So the update function is also working. Let's say I want to delete Frank, right? So just say verify it by searching. Okay, all good. Let's say I want to delete. Awesome. The data got deleted from the Firebase real-time database. So all the functions are working, right? That's something really nice, right? Let's see one final thing. So this has the real-time data synchronization happening between the running apps. So the app is having that feature. So what do I mean by that? Let me show it to you like this. So let me simulate this in another phone. Let's say I'm going to select iPhone SE, right? And I'm going to run this on another simulator, right? Awesome. So I should be seeing two simulators running. One, the earlier one on iPhone 11, right? So when you run it on the second emulator, your first emulator app might get closed. So you can just open it, right? Just click on the icon. So now you can see the app is running on two emulators. So it's like it's being used by two users, right? Now let's say if the second user is listing the employees, right, like this. Let me also keep the database also in the background. What I'm showing is the real-time data synchronization happening between the running apps. Let's say the other user goes and inserts data for an employee. So I entered some sample data. Now see what's going to happen. When this user saves the data, see what will happen to the other user, right? Awesome. See, everything is in action, right? So the data got saved, got the message, the data is in the Firebase real-time database, and the most awesome feature is the second user screen got auto updated. So that's real-time data synchronization happening between running apps, right? So when so that is something very important, right? So which you notice, right? So go back and see what I said, right? Just go back few minutes and see what I explained now and get more details of that, right? So how did we get it done? Actually, I already explained it earlier in one of the earlier lessons, but I will show it to you quickly. So when we read the data, right? So when we read the data, what we did was, see, when we connect to the database and we read the data, we use this method, observe event type, right? And it clearly said in our previous discussions, when you look at that observe event type, right? Let me show it to you, observe event type with block, right? See, observe event type is used to listen for data changes, right? This is the primary way to read data. That's what we did, right? See the important thing, your block will get triggered for the initial data and again whenever data changes. That is what happened, right? So when the second user inserted data, the data got changed in the database, right? But then when so when the first user inserted the data got changed in the database. So the second user had in the app had this method, right? See, observe event type, and it loaded the data again, right? So for the let me show it, right? So when the first user entered, it got changed the database and it got triggered, right, this method, and the second user's screen got updated, right? So that is because of this method, and it's because it says whenever the data changes it will get triggered. So when the data got changed, once again this block, right, this block, because if you look at this carefully, it is the block will get triggered. So what it means is this block, right, from here to here, that got triggered, right? Because it got triggered, it read all the data again, right? It got all the data from the employees and it reloaded the table view. So that is how it happened, right? But just make sure it won't happen if you use the other method, right? So this was observe event type, but if you use observe single, right, observe single event of type, that's what we use for the search button, then it won't get triggered. It immediately cancels after initial data is returned, right? That's what we used for our If you remember the previous lessons, that's what we use for our search method, right? So awesome viewers, so you completed a successful lesson and it was a very exciting lesson. Now it's a complete app, right? Let's see what's next. Okay viewers, so we completed the successful practical demonstration. The conclusion is, well, we combine all the parts we did from part database, Firebase database program part 1 to 8 into one app quickly, because we were continuing the same project and we had these options, and we discussed about real-time data synchronization, and we discussed the API class which does that trick, right? We did some practicals for this session. You can find the link to download the source code for the projects done in this session in the relevant download section in this series. Reference was Apple Developer Docs. And what's next, right? Well, we have completed this app, right? That's awesome, right? But if you like to do more apps similar to this, different apps using different features of Firebase, look at this remaining lectures on Firebase, right, in this series, right? Have a look at the other videos, right? But we are done for this app, right? Have a look at our other videos on Objective-C. Also make sure to have a look at other series on machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science and IoT, because that's where the future is, right? Okay viewers, it was exciting journey with you, and we will meet you in another exciting video. Keep an eye on the channel, right? See you until then.